I'm back, and let's just get straight into the Jon Pertwee era. Right, and here we go, starting off in colour. Spearhead from space. It just perfectly encapsulates the era already in the first story. It's a sign of things to come. You can just stick this on all the time, anytime, watch it over and over. It's so good. The way it's shot all on film, it just looks so stunning, and it's just a great story and a great way to kick it off. And here we already have my favourite Jon Pertwee story. The music and the Silurians are the standouts here. It's just so creepy, and with the virus and everything, and the stakes are really high. And then we have the Ambassadors of Death. This is really an overshadowed story. It's so good, and it's got I can't remember the name of the team, but they do all the stunt stuff, and they really utilise that here. That shootout scene with the Brigadier and those guys they're trekking down is really great. Really fun story, but the ending's a bit naff, and I feel like they could have done more with it, but I really do like that. And Inferno, this is a great story again. It's just epic. It's a Doctor Who epic. Parallel world is a stroke of genius. Every character is brilliant, and this is the best season of Doctor Who. These ones here, it's just I think one of the best things about it is the acting is so good, and the stories as well, great ideas. They just really got Doctor Who with that exile, and I mean, yeah, just all those ones are just peak Doctor Who. The 7-parters as well, absolutely love it. Almost every story in that season for me is a 10 out of 10. The only one I don't think is the Ambassadors of Death, but I do need to watch it again probably. But yeah, really good story, really good season. Then we move on to season 8 with Terror of the Autons. This one's a load of fun, but that's about it. It's not the best story, but it's definitely one you can just watch. The Autons are always, all their stories are really good to watch. But yeah, I do enjoy it. The Master, obviously, I can't not say that. The Master, that's his first story, and he's in all of these ones now. And then we got the Mind of Evil. Can get a bit repetitive with the cliffhangers and feel a bit drawn out, but it is really dark, and it's a U. I have no idea how they've come to that, because it is dark as anything. And now the Claws of Axos. This one's it's just good to just stick on, especially in the winter. I enjoy watching this in the winter. I don't know why that is. I guess there's seasonal stories like the Two Doctors I always watch when it's hot and sunny, but no, I don't know why that is. But yeah, I think it's got Mr. Chin and the Doctor just losing his shit at him, and that is just really funny. Colony in Space. This is the first story that I don't actually like that much. I'd give this one about 5 out of 10. It's very, very average. I think there is a good story here, but when I watched it, I wasn't really gripped. But I like the stuff with the Master, but that's about it in this one. The people in the mining company are real arseholes, but I guess that's a good thing for them. But then the aliens are just really just rubbish, is all I can say. Then we have the Demons. I finally made my mind up on this one. I did like it before. I've always liked it, but I went to where they filmed it, and that just clinched it for me. I think it's almost perfect Doctor Who. Benton and Yates are brilliant in this one. They look like they're out of the professionals. Everyone is on top form. Yeah, really good. Day of the Daleks. I watched this in London actually when I was probably about 8 years old in Hammersmith Apollo. I think it's fun, but I don't think it's not bad, but it's not a perfect story, but it is definitely fun. I've always really liked that one. We have the Curse of Peladon. Starting to miss the Master a bit here. He's not been in the last couple of stories. I've never liked the Peladon stories, but when I've rewatched all the stories recently, this one has gone up a lot in my estimation. I still think it's about a 7 out of 10, but it's interesting enough to me now. I don't know why before I just kept falling asleep when I was watching it, but no, it's very good, I think. And now the Sea Devils, not as good as the Silurians for me, although a lot of people do think it is. I don't have that opinion though. But I've got the master back at least. The stuff with him in his like cell is so good. The sword fight scene's amazing. The stuff with the Sea Devil on that rig, the abandoned rig in the first episode and second one as well, I think is really, really, really good. That's probably my favourite part of this story. But then a lot of it feels just like a rehash of what we've already seen in the Silurians. And now we have my ultimate guilty pleasure story, The Mutants. I just love horror and stuff like metamorphosis, like An American Werewolf in London, The Fly, people changing, and I absolutely love that. I love the themes of this story, about how this change is supposed to happen. It's not something that the colonizers or colonists or whatever are doing. The ending is just stupid. It's absolutely stupid, but that's part of the reason why I love it. Yeah, that is really an overlooked one, I think. People say it's crap, they should watch it because it's actually good. Same with this one. I don't rate it as highly as The Mutants, but it's just fun. It's just absolutely fun, and that's all you can really ask for in a Doctor Who. The Kronos is a bit rubbish, but yeah, they didn't have the budget for what they were wanting to do. The stuff on Atlantis is fun, and also the stuff back on Earth is also really fun. In the modern, or back then, the modern day. The Three Doctors, this is just nice, as my dad says. It's very easy watch. Chemistry, obviously, everyone always says chemistry between Pertwee and Troughton is just, they're just so funny, and that's what really makes this. And Omega's really good actually as well, and never seen Omega good again really. I don't like him in Arc of Infinity. Carnival of Monsters, this is just such a ridiculous plot that it just works so well. I think it's Robert Home, the people who can't stand fun, or it's not allowed, and then talking about it is you'd only get that in Doctor Who. Even the Jurassics, I know they're not the main thing, but they're really well shot. I don't think they look very dated at all really. The guy with the box is funny. Yeah, I think this one's just really clever, and I think it knows it's clever as well. Frontier in Space, I think it's really good. It does feel a bit back and forth though. There's a lot of getting locked up and all that jazz, and getting in questioned, I guess. That's all I can think of. Just had a complete mind blank. I've probably cut there because I took so long to think. But I forgot Draconians. Draconians are really good, and I kind of wish they came back, but I don't think they would have worked with another Doctor. I do think Pertwee is just, with his political stories, it just works. Yeah, I don't think it would work for anyone else. I've got to shimmy a bit here because I'm running out of space. Planet of the Daleks, the second half of this. Technically a 12-parter really, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like two separate stories, which is probably the downfall of it. Cover, it's a bit like the Target cover, which was so good. I had that book, and I love the cover. I used to always watch this one as a kid, but I probably only ever watched like the first 2 episodes, and only watched it through like once as a kid. But yeah, a lot of nostalgia for that, but not really the best. But probably the second best Dalek story after Day of the Daleks for Pertwee. So we've got my ultimate guilty pleasure, and now we've got the story I think is most overrated in Doctor Who. I still really like it, but it's not, I don't get the hype. I find it a bit cringe, some of the characters, they're just all too happy, and all the dialogue, the way they act, I don't really like it. But I love the boss and I love Yates in this one. He's really good. They're the two standouts. The maggots are also really funny. Such a weird villain to have, but it just works. Yeah, really sad ending though. Jo, she's a great character. Good character development, which you don't get a lot of the time in classic Who. And now the Time Warrior. This one is probably my most nostalgic story. I've probably seen it more than any other. And even when I watch it, I can watch it over and over, and it just gets better and better every time. This is what Doctor Who's all about. I love the stories where they go back in the past, but there's some sci-fi element. I think it's called a pseudo-historical. I think, yeah, and the Sontarans, he's funny. I love how he sticks his tongue out weirdly. I love Irongron and his crew or whatever. Yeah, that's Doctor Who, just on top of its game. And this is a underrated story because the plot is fantastic, and as everyone says, it's all about the crappy looking dinosaurs, but with the crappy dinosaurs I can still watch it and admire it, and a lot of corruption in this story. And again, yeah, I love that, especially within the unit, the corruption, because it's all a bit happy, and then here is where it all starts to fall apart. And I like the stuff with Sarah on the ship. There's a lot going on, but I think it executes it all really well. And now we have the Doctor Who with the best cliffhanger of all time.
Stop, don't move.
Yeah, I don't really like this one. Kind of a good idea, has some good ideas in it, and then it just doesn't go anywhere with them. Like the Daleks not having any guns, that's gone within like 5 minutes, so they don't have to team up with the people anymore. The journey through like the temple thing with all the quests or whatever, they're just so easy, and to end it, the Doctor just like uses screwdriver or fiddles around with some wires and that's it. Yeah, I don't like that one. And Dalek's made to look quite stupid. They get beaten up with a stick, so yeah. Monster of Peladon. This one my opinion hasn't changed. It's still a load of shit. I don't even know what they're trying to do, and they made it 6 parts, which is even worse, because I don't even want to watch 4 parts of this story, so having to get through the extra 2 as well is horrible. But the one positive I have about this is it is great to see the Ice Warriors in colour and being villains, and that's it. And the final story, I really squeezed up here, is Planet of the Spiders. People are mixed on this one. I just enjoy it for what it is. It's not the best story. It's got some bad stuff in it, with all the people on the spider planet, or whatever it's called. Some of the rituals are a bit silly or whatever. You got that really long chasing, but Pertwee's having fun and he goes out on a high. I think it's good enough. I quite like the spiders, even though they're a bit weird the way they bob up and down and all that, but for the time and for Doctor Who, they could have looked a lot worse. So yeah, that's all I'll say for that. But that is the Pertwee era. It's a fantastic era of Doctor Who, really. It's the longest era coming up next, so that'll be good fun for me to do. Hear me moaning on it even more. Yeah, so hopefully I'll see you again.